Are you concerned at all about politicians trying to put the political opposition in jail on both sides?
I'm on the Republican side, not on the Democrat side.
What do you mean?
When I look at the history behavior of Republicans trying to jail or talk about jailing political opponents, I think it's very worrisome. I would say that so far, I think Democrats have been fairly responsible when it comes to how they approach it, with some select criticisms for the way that they conduct themselves. But I think all of the Trump indictments are 100% fair. All of them are public. You can read them. Some of them, he's dead to rights on, like the Mar-a-Lago thing. Absolutely dead to rights on that. The New York thing is like, kind of, I don't know. The RICO thing in Georgia and the main Jack Smith case for the insurrection stuff, I think is really strong. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in court. But yeah, but you compare that to like the Jim Jordan like House impeachment inquiry of Biden because he saw too many Hunter Biden cockpits or whatever is like fucking stupid, I think.
And that's the documents you're talking about?
Mar-a-Lago is the classified
that's the
information.
Classified information.
Correct.
But didn't Joe Biden have classified information as well?
Yes.
And so the status on that?
So again, this comes down to a fact of the matter thing that I think a lot of people just aren't aware of. Taking classified material out of a, they're called SCIFs. I'm trying to remember what it stands for. It's like secured classified information area, designated area or something. Taking classified material is not a crime. You might get fired for it. But taking classified material is not a crime. The crime, if you actually read the criminal statutes under the U.S. Code, and you can see them on all the Trump indictments, the crime is if you knowingly take something, or if you keep something that you know you're not supposed to have in an unsecured area. That's the crime. So for what Joe Biden did, and I think Pence did this as well, was I think it was their lawyers discovered like, oh, here's a document that might be classified because a lot of it is retroactively classified. It's not classified at the time you take it. And then if you communicate with either NARA or the FBI or the DOJ, you're like, hey, we've got a classified material here. Do you want to come and take this or whatever, and they do that, you're fine. That's totally, it's happened to a ton of people. It happens every time presidents leave office. Sometimes they take a bunch of stuff. Some stuff gets retroactively classified. NARA will come and they'll take the stuff. That's all fine. Donald Trump had the ability to do that. NARA reached out to him in March 2021, I think. And then it wasn't until a year later that the FBI finally came knocking on the door because he wasn't cooperating. He wasn't turning any of it back in. And when you read all the leaked stuff, he knew that he had stuff that he wasn't supposed to have. He was intentionally trying to move the boxes around and hide it. And he was telling his employee, that Nauta guy, or Nauta, I think, he was telling him to lie to his legal counsel about where stuff was and what was where and to move it around to hide it from them. So Donald Trump was knowingly, he was satisfying the mens rea aspect of that criminal statute to be committing the crime of having classified material and retaining it
What was the material? What was in it?
National defense secrets is part of it. So for some stuff it related to, if you actually read the indictment for the Mar-a-Lago case, they list, but it's all in like vague terms. So it'll be like a document might be the weapons capability of an ally when it comes to this type of attack, the defensive capability of an enemy in this region. Like those are what they're all marked as. It won't tell you specifically what it is, but.
And why would he keep that?
Good question. Why would he? I don't know. He showed off some of it. There were at least 2 instances that they are asserted in the indictments where he's just showing off, like, I think one is Iranian attack plans, where he's talking to a reporter and he's like, look, Milley, he tried to say that I wanted to do this, but look at what he did. He's the one that made this plan, and he was showing it to a reporter. So that's one instance of it. And then there was another one talking about plans or something to another person. Yeah. Those are crimes. Okay. The obstruction element is also a crime. Willful retention of national defense secrets is a crime, even if the materials, even if it was like declassified. And then the obstruction of justice charges are crimes as well. The falsification of federal documents was one of the indictments. Conspiracy for obstruction was another charge. Yeah.
At any point, do you think it's in the people's best interest to limit free speech?
Yeah, of course.
And where do you draw that line?
I don't know. It's a hard one to draw, but like obviously, there's tons of limits that we all agree. I can't make plans with you, for instance, to go and kill somebody, right? And then go buy something to do it, right? That's conspiracy to commit murder. Conspiracies to commit crimes are arguably, it's just a speech element and then one step taken towards the crime that's not illegal. The obvious, like shouting fire in a movie theater is illegal. Leaking classified information can be a crime. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of free speech things that are crimes. I don't know. It super depends. There's the Brandenburg v. Ohio standard for inciting a riot. Like you've got to have the intention of inciting a riot and know that your words will cause a riot or whatever. There's got to be like imminent lawful or lawlessness that you're encouraging people to do, et cetera.